Well, as you can maybe hear, it is not a great day in Cleveland. It's pouring rain. I raced in the mud last night in Chicago, only to come back to race in the mud here in Cleveland. Not cool. But unfortunately, that's the job resume sometimes, and I'll endeavor to get through it tonight. For today at noon, you have your shares opening up. There's only, from what I can see, 13 shares of Go Strong Hammer. That's Logan Telly's brother. A little more inexpensive purchase. I can't really tell you why. It's a good looking bull. I think when you step back and look at the sale, all the fillies with deeper breeding, which were the green shoes, were going for a lot of money, but the colts were kind of left behind. And not just green shoe colts. I can't really quantify how we were able to get Leland Hanover. I know he's completely sold out. There may be a share or two floating around after today. There were people, there was somebody that told me, hey, flat out, I thought you would get an expensive horse. Thought I did. Just didn't pay a lot of money for him. He was going to be an expensive horse. I just didn't have to go as deep as I thought I would on that colt, so I'm happy. So there may be a share or two of those horses kicking around, and again, there is, I'm happy to say it, but sad to say it at the same time, there is a waiting list of people that are waiting to get shares of those horses, right? I've already fielded emails from them. So, we'll see how that plays out. And again, Cherry's Girl, this is the Pennsylvania filly, one of two. I thought I would get the other one, and we did not get her, at least yet, I guess. The season's not over. There's always private purchases. I will be reaching out to farms to see what are available. There's always horses available if they get injured or sick or whatnot before the sale. And then we always have people reaching out to me. As I said, we have two private, I guess, sales purchases that will come into the stable over the next little bit, plus our homebreds are going to be on there also. So I think our homebreds you guys see are on the front end. We have a Stay Hungry colt and a Goo Goo Gaga filly that will also be joining the stable. Now with the Goo Goo Gaga filly, and I'm going to have to continue to say this for the first little bit, we are going to buy shares in this filly, but she will be sold after a 3-year-old season back to the original purchaser, which is Robert Lidstrom from Europe. He wanted to buy the filly, had some partners. The partners, I guess, had cold feet for whatever reason. And rather than pushing, he just said, you know what, no problem. He came over and talked to me, and I said, we'd love to have this horse. Good looking filly on paper. I had some nice notes about her in my catalog for Lexington. It just didn't come about. We'll talk about that next week. You know, to reiterate, after a night's sleep last night, still disappointed in the performance of Allie's Got Grit, but he wasn't horrible. He did his work. He trotted. That's important. And the filly, although I was beat a ton and only trotted in 2 minutes, I think that's probably what she's capable of trotting. 58. I think if I cut her loose and drove her in a more aggressive manner, she probably could have trotted, and she could have been a better fourth. Maybe if I'd have come first in with her. I didn't really want to do that with her last night, even being the final. I was going to let it play out, and then that 8 horse stopped in, not the 8. Whoever the horse was right in front of me, stopped right in front of me, coming out of the last turn, and kind of cost us fourth, I think. But even so, she was a little flat. But I think both horses did what they could last night and didn't break rule number 1. Neither of us did. They stayed trotting, and I helped them do it, I believe. When it comes to Illinois, they got 2 more stakes there. Some questions I have to answer with respect to Illinois. Are we just going to move these horses? Maybe somebody in Illinois wants them, or are we going to keep them? The reason I ask this is because they don't race at Hawthorne again till next October, November. So do we keep them? Do we turn them out after these next 2 starts, bring them back, race them in overnights, decide what we're doing with them next year, race them in Du Quoin, the Illinois State Fair again, and wait till next November? I don't know how that works. We don't have a playbook. We don't have a playbook for this, so to speak. So I don't know what's going to happen. When it comes to our yearlings, they're going to be all in-house, I believe. They're still coming in. On Monday, we'll have those horses started to be trained down. Now, the only 2 horses missing from that schedule will be Leland Hanover, and an OCD removed and was castrated. He was originally, so a little more invasive, but still everything went well. And then what I would consider to be a horse we were very fortunate to get was Sterling Hanover. He had some OCDs removed. That's probably 2 weeks in the stall, maybe a week of the aqua treadmill or hand walking. By my birthday, December 1st, we'll have him broke and going, which is more than enough time. So really, really happy with the way things have gone this season. Mildly okay with the way things went last night. Very disappointed with the way things are going today, but you know what? It just is what it is. Now, we're in a total transition right now. Sale season is behind us. I can't believe I just said that. Sale season is behind us. Now we're looking to take a fresh look at the playing field in front of us, what classes are being offered at what tracks, how they're filling, how fast they're going, how tough they are, and then moving horses around accordingly. We're going to bring some horses. We have brought some horses over from Ontario. We may send some horses back over there, depending on what we got. As far as racers go right now, I think some of the horses we sent over will do fine in the numbers of 1 and 2 at Mohawk, and we'll get to reassess them. That circles back to some questions we had this week about how the time off we're giving our horses. There was a couple of older horsemen that thought that maybe, and not, I didn't mean that in a disparaging way, but thought that maybe 6 weeks was not enough, in my humble opinion, for horses we put away relatively fresh without any injuries that needed extra time. I think 6 weeks is the number, and it is the number we are going to work with. Country Dancing had that 6 weeks. She's gone over to Ontario. Rosetta is back with us now. I don't know if we'll send her to Ontario or not. It depends on how mentally mature she is now that she's back with us. Is she going to behave? Is she going to stay okay? Or is she going to be a little bit of a project? The Woolners aren't notoriously known for that. So I'm going to probably reassess her over the next 2-3 weeks of just jogging and having her on the track. And then if she looks like she's behaved and moving forward, that might be another horse that you see go over to Ontario. The biggest reason for this is, I've said it this way, and I need everybody to understand, in Ohio right now, we are busting at the seams. We are scrambling to find stalls for the horses that are coming in. It's not that we're short in Ontario, but I think we should stay to a number of 25 to 30 in Ontario. We have horses training back that may benefit from maybe a new surrounding, a new setting, a bigger track, and then have Mohawk to race at. My wife had said, what about Cadeau? I just don't know if he's good enough to race at Mohawk, and I'm not sending horses home that I believe are going to be racing at London or Flamborough. They may have to get a couple of starts there if they come back home over to Ohio. If they turn out to not be as good as we'd hoped. But the horses, for the most part, we've sent home, I believe will make their starts and do well in Ontario. A horse like Dancing by myself, I really believe this horse will excel at Mohawk over the Christmas season into the new year. And he would be the exact blueprint of what we're trying to do. Put him away in July or August, brought him back, had him ready in December, just like we did Time Is On My Side. We're going to race him a few starts, maybe 4 starts throughout the winter. Then we're going to reassess. Is he an overnight horse that might be a Buckeye horse? Is he a little bit better than we'd hoped? And how do we cultivate that? So that's where we're at with a number of those horses. We have 80, right? And I know there's equipment and feed. I told everybody in the barn, there will be 80 horses in this barn. Get the equipment out of the stalls that are taking up 2 stalls. You can condense them to 1. The hay stall, things of that nature. We have feed in a locked room, obviously. So we have 83 stalls we pay for. 80 will have horses in them by the end of next week, and that is a challenge that I've given everybody. I know it's a little hectic especially Jason's such a compartmentalized trainer, and I've said this a million times. I love this about him. Everything is prim and proper. To give him a lot of horses is difficult. So the middle shed row will likely be made up. The babies, Amy and I will be in charge of on the far shed row. That will spill over into the middle shed row. Any horses that don't fit in the far shed row that are racing will likely be at the back, on the back side of Jason's. And him and Jason Merriman will likely collaborate on those horses. So I'm happy that it's worked out this way. Now we just have to reorganize, right? Where does everybody go? There's going to be horses again. We're going to have this go through over and over again, where horses just aren't fitting, the classes aren't filling, and we are not going to keep them in hope and wait that later on in the spring that happens. We can find horses that are going to fit current classes, and therefore if there are horses that aren't fitting currently, you saw that with Stay Close. I love Stay Close, but I'm not going to continue to race him over his head. Yo Mister, he couldn't race at Mohawk over his head. I'd had enough. We moved him out. Is he going to race in the Meadows or Southern Ohio? I don't know yet. Our job will be to make sure we have the right horses for the right classes in the right jurisdictions. And that means acquiring horses and then obviously selling some other ones. That's what my job will be over the next 6 weeks, as we start to take a look at the industry and how it's taking shape in front of us. So a little look at what's gone on, what will go on. I know I've had a couple of people message me, Anthony, what do you have in mind for a Black Friday sale? I don't know yet. I have again engaged Kelly, John, Amy. What do you think? Because this is something where I just feel that I am very myopic when it comes to how we can think outside the box to move some additional shares in the stable, and quite frankly benefit our clients who have been with us for quite a while and help make up the stable and allow us to purchase the horses that we've been able to purchase this season. I think year over year over year, and again this year, the one thing we didn't do, and I'm very curious to see how this plays out, we never bought one six-figure yearling this year. I'm not disappointed in that. I think we got some six-figure yearlings, we just didn't pay six figures for them. So I'm curious, when we look at the pedigree, this is absolutely the deepest year we've ever had in pedigree coming up. We just didn't have to pay for it, right? We got, even when you look at Harrisburg, Better's Wishes brother, Meshuggah's brother, Temporal Hanover's brother, right? We were able to secure those horses just in Harrisburg alone. Locatelli's brother, again, who knows how that will play out. He was a very inexpensive purchase, and for a horse that's done so much for us over the years before we ended up selling him, I thought it was just a very, very easy purchase. So for the most part, I don't want to say we made errors, a little shortcomings. I did want that other Pennsylvania filly. We didn't get that, but for the most part, we had a blueprint for the sale season. We followed it, and I think we executed it very well. So again, as I finish my Sunday video, thank you all for that. Both Amy, the work that she put in, organizing stuff with the kids, and then being in Lexington, being in Harrisburg. Steve, who went to Hanover and scouted horses for us. Rob, who's in Lexington and also looking at the catalogs and being there for us. And of course, Randy and Bob Hutchison, who were at all the sales with us also. John played a huge role. Everybody that played a huge role. The reason I sound like I'm making some sort of award speech is because I believe all these people deserve to be mentioned also. You did a great job. I truly appreciate all the help, and thoroughly looking forward to getting back to work full-time here in Ohio, at least, focusing on training these babies down, getting over to Ontario, having a look at what's going on in Ontario and assessing everything there, and helping the stable move forward through the fall into the winter season. So with that, I'm going to let you go. Your video should be up and ready and sent out to you already. I just thought that this would be a little bit of a up-to-date note of where we're at, and a little bit of a thank you to everybody that made it possible. Take care. Have a wonderful Sunday wherever you are. If you're around here, you're going to need an umbrella. Hopefully it's nicer wherever you are. Take care.